Hey guys, Lyra Linx here, back with Chapter 3 of I Miss You. Today's Chapter 3, starts off with a little author's note that I put in, and so I'm just gonna read it straight through. It says, before you read this chapter, I just want to say thank you to PokeGirl185 for being my first reviewer, and a second thank you for favoriting my story. Thank you so much. Like I said in my first video, she was the first person to review my story, and we had been friends on fanfiction for a long time, and we just now reconnected recently. And so I think that that's really cool, and it's really fun to look back on. So, time to get into the chapter and do some more looking back into my olden days. Chapter 3. This was one of those dreams where you could tell you were dreaming, but it was so vivid and realistic at the same time. May was floating through the air, free as a swablu, laughing and swirling around and flying high. She felt more freedom than she ever had before, but that changed quickly. Suddenly, chains shot into the sky, latching onto May and dragging her to the ground. She screamed as she struggled to break free. The chain pulled her abruptly back down to the earth, and she screeched in pain when she slammed back down to its surface. She trembled in pain, tears streaming from her eyes like a river, but through her blurred vision, she could make out a figure. The figure picked her up, cradling her in its arms as if she were an infant. May held tightly to the figure, blinking away tears so she could see who her rescuer was. She knew the face immediately, the raven black hair, his confident and loving eyes, the typical baseball cap, and the two cute Z's on his cheeks. Her friend and secret crush, Ash Ketchum. I'm having a little bit of trouble reading today. Ash, said May in a small, disbelieving voice. Is it really you? Of course it's me, he replied as if it were the most obvious thing in the world. Who else would it be? May smiled lovingly up at him. He was the same Ash as ever, heroic, handsome, and the opposite of Drew, just the way she likes it. This can't be real. I never thought I'd see you again. Ash smiled evilly, sending chills down May's spine. What happened to that sweet smile he'd had just moments ago? May shrieked and thrust herself out of his arms, landing face first into the hard dirt below. Struggling to her feet and ignoring her now bloody nose, she ran away from this dark Ash, wanting desperately to get away from him, but Ash ran right after her. May, didn't you want to see me again? He asked, the dark, twisted smile still etched onto his face. No, May screamed, springing forward as fast as her legs could carry her. Ash's face contorted and twisted until it formed the face of a hideous monster. May screamed at the top of her lungs when she saw his face. Don't you love me, May? He asked in a hissy, low voice. May couldn't do anything as so many typos. As the monster approached her, tackling her to the ground and beginning to rip apart her flesh, she screamed until she finally awakened from the nightmare. May woke up panting and sweating as she thought of all that had occurred in her dream. I don't think that's spelled right either. Beautifly stared up at her in concern, cocking its head to the side in confusion. I go from calling Beautifly a she to saying it. I was very confused on if I should gender the Pokemon or not. I do remember that. Noticing the look of horror and confusion in Beautifly's eyes, May took a deep breath and redeemed herself. I'm not sure if that's the right word to use there either, though. Sorry, Beautifly, she said, patting its head in an effort to comfort it. Comfort. Wow. Just a nightmare. I'm fine now. Beautifly nodded, but still wasn't completely convinced. It knew May pretty well by now, and she was positive that May was not fine. She looked like a mess of sweat and worry and other emotions Beautifly wasn't able to name. May took another deep breath, then another, until she was a bit more calm, then got out of bed. She quickly ran to the bathroom and closed the door, locking it behind her. She turned on the sink faucet and splashed some cold water on her face, doing this over and over until she snapped back to reality. She thought about the dream over and over, thousands of questions filling her head. She wasn't quite sure what the dream meant. Wow. But suddenly she missed Ash more now Excuse me, but suddenly she missed Ash now more than ever. May thought things over until she made a decision. I have to go and see Ash. Alright, so this chapter was very ridden with mistakes, and it doesn't help that I couldn't read very clearly. But I'm surprised by how graphic that nightmare got, ripping apart flesh and all that, and it still makes Drew sound like such a terrible person. But it does have this nice little line at the end that she has to go see Ash. That sets up for a nice reunion, I suppose. Well, I guess I'll check out the reviews for that. Like I promised, here's your short-awaited review from Ruru Puppy 2854. So far I think the plot is very good. However, the story needs more details and possibly some more snapshot scenes. Don't worry, I've gone through this process before and started out worse than you as an author. You'll get better. If you need any help or ideas, I'd be happy to help you anytime. This is another friend of mine. And yeah, I feel like my stories all used to have a lot of typos because I remember I thought that I needed to release something like every day, and that consumed so much time. And really, if I would have waited a couple days and gone through it more, I could have had a lot of higher quality stories. But no, I wanted to release something every day if I was able to. And so that's just sort of how it went. And it's just something to learn from. Looking back on it now, it seems really silly. Then from the Unknowing Cloth 213, meant contest shipping. Okay, and then Red Hood Lover. May, if I had a dream like that, he would be the last person I would want to see. Beautiful work. I have to agree. It's kind of a weird dream for her to want to go back to Ash through. But anyway, I guess that's it for chapter 3. This is still super weird for me, but also very enjoyable. And I'm really excited to be making these videos. I might end up releasing more than one a day because it's really fun to be able to read through this again. It's really different. But that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed. Like and subscribe for more content, and I hope to see you in the next video, whenever that may be. Today, tomorrow, whenever. Bye!